I tell a lot of friends, they always ask us about where Atlantis came from, the name Atlantis, and why would you name an asset that floats in 7,000 feet of water after a sunken city? And then I lovely pull out my pictures to show of the subsea architecture where it literally looks like a city sitting on the sea floor with our 16 wells and our 4 manifolds and all of the interconnecting piping and control works coming back into the PQ up here where we process this massive amounts of oil and gas that we're making. It's been just an extreme joy to watch it go from an idea spilling on the paper, growing out of iron, and now here it is, truly Atlantis, the best that we can be.
One of my favorite quotes from the beginning, early stages of the development was Ian Van, who was at the time BP's chief geologist. I think the exact quote was, "These fields are teetering on the edge of doability." And by that he meant both technical and commercial, and everything else, but we've made it work. And it was a real challenge. Drilling salt, 7,000 feet of salt that was in the discovery well, was not as routine a deal as it is now. More than once we thought, is this all worth it? But on the other hand, the potential was there. It was a big structure. And when we drilled through those 2 main reservoirs and they were full of oil and we had over 350 net feet of pay, that was, for me personally, the eureka moment. There have been lots of other good times since then, but that was the one where you went, whew, it worked.
When I first came on Atlantis, it was a startup team and with only 1 discovery well drilled, and we really didn't know where it was going to lead. And we were kind of trying to figure out who we were and where we were going to go, and we saw a lot of challenges at Atlantis. The one thing that I thought was special about Atlantis from the very beginning was a real willingness for people to be open-minded, try new things, listen to everybody's idea, and actually have fun working together. It's been like no other team I've ever worked on.
Atlantis is exceptional I think from the day I joined the team, from a lot of different reasons. One is the size and the scope of it. It's a huge asset and it has a ton of potential. It has a beautiful reservoir, and it's always fun to be on a project that makes a lot of oil. Beyond that, there's always been the intangible about Atlantis that has made it a truly fascinating project. For the day I started on the team, it was a new family. I've developed friendships that I'll maintain probably for the rest of my career, if not the rest of my life on the team. Sometimes, given that we're all engineers, we professionally disagree about maybe what the best way forward is. We talk about it, sometimes we slug it out. But I think at the end of the day, when we come to a solution, we are a team, and we agree that that's the way we move forward, and that's what we do.
One of the things that I've done in my spare time for the last 15 years is be involved in youth soccer, developing the kids to reach their full potential and that sort of thing. You know, it's a lot of the same sort of behaviors that you want to see in leaders in the workplace. The part of the project general manager is almost nothing about the technology. It's all about choosing the best people, creating a vision for success, getting everybody behind that vision. It's selecting players, but then enabling each one of them to bring their strengths to the game and creating a team atmosphere of trust so that they can be successful on game day, both individually and as a team.
In order to do good yoga, you have to breathe, you have to be balanced, and you also have to be focused. And once you concentrate on an inhalation, exhalation, all other thoughts seem to just find their way into some other corridor of the brain, and they don't come up until I allow them back in. And normally I allow them back in around 7:30 when we start our morning meeting or our call to the rig. We don't separate safety from efficiency. When we actually are very methodical, we involve the right people, we talk about what's coming up, and we all decide before we ever get going, if something changes, time out. Let's step back, let's talk about it, let's regroup, let's replan, let's ask everyone, are you comfortable? When we get the thumbs up, we're ready to go forward.
I think Atlantis has been very different for me personally. I think for most of the people on the project from other projects we've done. For one thing, it was much more of an international project. We built pieces in Spain and Finland, and of course in Korea we had a large piece in Singapore. And at each place we would have site teams that would be comprised of both locals and people from different parts of the world. And trying to make all of those people work together as one team and try to facilitate that was a bit of a challenge. I think in other ways, the fact this is the deepest water depth in the world, some of the deepest suction piles, some of the longest mooring lines, one of the biggest facilities, the second largest semi-submersible in the world, made it very challenging for us, and we had to overcome quite a few technical obstacles, particularly incorporating the cost and schedule. At any one time we would have 2,000 people in the yard in Korea working on the hull. And in the end, that's what of all of the activities on Atlantis, that's what I'm most proud of, is that we had 4 million man-hours over in Korea without anybody getting hurt.
When you're tackling a business undertaking, one of the most normal things to do is to ask yourself, okay, well, what did we do last time? And for a lot of the things that we've done on Atlantis, there was no last time. And so, as you can imagine, at the cutting edge of technology, there's always going to be surprises. And so I get asked a lot, so what's been key to overcoming the challenges or surprises? And what I would say is you can't anticipate everything in advance. In fact, you need to expect the unexpected, and you need to develop an organization that is equipped to do that. We discovered that some of the welds on our subsea equipment may not have the longevity that we need. This presented one of our biggest challenges to the project.
It absolutely was a battle. We put together a schedule which said, you know what, we can pull up the manifolds, cut them apart, rebuild them, and have first oil by mid-07. And throughout the process, things came up. You know, we had issues with the fact that the cladding and non-clad sections weren't spaced properly apart. We had issues with the design of the long-term pressure caps, and the interface wasn't quite right. But what we were able to do is to get the best and the brightest in BP, providing support and helping us find a solution and a path forward, such that once we found out there was an issue, in less than a month, we had a new path, a new schedule, and we were just getting after it.
Because we're working in an area that, you know, we can't get people access to this equipment, we need to ensure that we don't get hydrocarbons leaking to the environment. We work through that, ensuring that the whole system is safe before we proceed. We managed to incorporate a system which will allow flow assurance to be managed. An ROV, which is our remote operating vehicle, to go down subsea and inject hot water. We've taken a different approach, which we think is the right answer for Atlantis.
There's something about the people on Atlantis that is pretty awesome. It's like no challenge or no problem or no opportunity is too big. The team takes it on, overcomes the challenge, delivers, and then just moves on to the next one. Really big, strong, can-do culture. This Atlantis team likes to win.
He's a star. He's a natural.
The most stressful period for me, most difficult part, was when we had the hull finished in Texas, down at Ingleside's yard. At that time, in the summer of 2005, there was a large eddy current in the Gulf of Mexico. These are about 200 miles wide. And nobody had ever installed a platform in the middle of hurricane season, in the middle of this large eddy before, and we had a lot of reservations about that. At the same time, though, we didn't want to keep the platform quayside at the yard in Texas because we had a lot of people living on the platform, and the living conditions there when you're quayside are not as good as when you get offshore and you get all of your equipment off and running. So we had to balance those two issues. And then our whole team, each day we had a phone call, 30 or 40 people involved, and convinced ourselves in that summer that we had a perfect window to install it. And the success of that operation, I think, was probably the most stressful, but also one of the most rewarding pieces in that we were able to do that safely.
The wind is 17 at 010.
Had to go from engine start.
Seas are 4 to 6 feet at 010.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Program initiated about 110 degrees
Okay, engine stop.
Well, it's 17 years I've been in the industry, and the leaps and bounds we've made on the DD2 are incredible. Working in a lot deeper water, dual activity derrick, and also now the use of our number 7 mooring winch for putting architecture down on the seabed and building the Atlantis field. It's very exciting, hectic at times, very busy, but we all have to be careful, and our main goal all the time is the safety of all the personnel on board.
Unique thing about the Development Driller 2 is that it's not only just a drilling rig. It drills the wells to 21,000 feet. It then puts the well completion in the ground. It puts the pipe in from the reservoir back to the surface, and then it helps lay all the infrastructure, the pipes on the seabed in 6,800 feet of water. No other rig in the world can do that work or has done that work, so it's unique entirely to Atlantis, and the people on the rig are uniquely skilled to carry out that work, and we're really proud of what they accomplished.
I've got 5 years of my life invested in this project, and it was truly fabulous to watch that come online. So this was the day that the oil from the reservoir that the geologists had targeted, that the DNC team had drilled and completed, that the subsea team had put the manifolds and infrastructure on the seafloor, and went up through the risers up to the top sides, and then through the production train, and then we exported oil. So it was the day that it all came together and we worked as one single system. And that was aha, eureka. That was the stuff dreams are made of.
It doesn't seem that long ago that we cut first steel over in Korea to build the hull. And to see it now actually producing oil and gas, what it was designed to do, it was a long road to get here, and it wasn't easy by any means. But I feel kind of like a proud parent to see that the PQ is actually now doing what it was designed to do.
I have been in the industry for 27 years. I've worked on all different kinds of vessels, and this project is by far on the cutting edge of technology. I get a great deal of satisfaction out of just knowing that I firsthand have a full understanding of what it took to get that flame out the end of that boom over there, and that's a pretty big accomplishment in itself. And if I had to make an analogy, I would say it's like I guess an NFL playoff victory here.
The environment offshore poses significant risk regardless of what phase you're in. Up until now, we've had the risks associated with projects. Now we've got a hydrocarbon processing platform that has several thousand barrels of oil and up to 60 million cubic feet of gas, which is volatile and poses the risk of fire explosion. So the risks change, but the emphasis on safety remains the same.
Working here on Atlantis is a very dynamic atmosphere, and we have people here from different expertise levels. Then we do weekly drills for various different things, from anywhere from fire drills, abandoned drills, man overboard drills, things that we know we have to do to keep everyone safe here.
The one thing here on Atlantis and throughout BP, the company is dedicated to safety. Safety is what sends each person that comes here home the same way they arrived. Production is not our king. You can make all the production in the world, but if you send someone home injured or someone dies here, all the production in the world doesn't bring that person back to their family.
We've only been flowing our wells for approximately 2 months. Out of that 2 months, we had about 44 consecutive days that we call perfect days. No safety incidents where anyone's got hurt. We have no environmental incidents. And we have a day that all our equipment is run for 24 hours straight, no shutdowns. 44, that's outstanding. And you know, these individuals that are throughout this asset right now on the different crews, they are the ones that done that. And that's, I'm really proud that we've been able to accomplish that already.
The journey to where we're at now has truly been amazing to watch things go from an idea that spills out onto paper, and now seeing that come to fruition and watching the meter go up and up and up and up, and every day we're bringing something on. Tomorrow we bring on another well. Tomorrow and beyond, the sky's the limit. And the future opportunities that we got are almost endless.
If I look back on Atlantis, what I'm going to remember most about it really are two things. One is the creativity that I saw generated over several years by many different teams and individuals within Atlantis to solve problems, a lot of which none of us had ever encountered before. And in fact, the industry hadn't encountered before. But I'm going to remember the tremendously talented people that worked on Atlantis, and I'm most excited right now for them because there's sort of a buzz, a sense of completion, a real pride in how far we've come and what it's taken to get here and how the team has pulled together to finish. I think Atlantis will be around as a producing asset for a long time. It'll be an important one for a long time, and my belief is that it will always be a place where people want to work.